Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasati.
Hare Krishna, welcome back. We are reading Bhagavad-gita, which is not surprising because our channel is called Bhagavad-gita, here it is. And this is Bhagavad-gita as it is. Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's translation and purports to the timeless classic Bhagavad-gita. And we are in the second chapter, contents of the Gita summarized. So if you're indecisive on what spiritual literature you want to focus on, if you don't plan to read a whole lot, Bhagavad-gita is the most, how to say, condensed or focused book there is. And the second chapter is, it's the contents of the Gita summarized, and it gives us a very good platform for the rest of our spiritual life. So this is such an important chapter, and it's such a pleasure to read it. So I will read the Sanskrit as usual. Bhogaishvarya prashaktanang taya paritachetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhau na vidhiyate. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. Purport. Samadhi means fixed mind. The Vedic dictionary, the Nirukti, says, Samyag adhyatesmin atmatattva yathatmyam. When the mind is fixed for understanding the self, it is said to be in samadhi. Samadhi is never possible for persons interested in material sense enjoyment and bewildered by such temporary things. They are more or less condemned by the process of material energy. Yes, so this may sound a little bit, how to say, judgmental and also a little impractical, as if we're in the material world and obviously we are in contact with a sense object, and they're like the framework for our lives. And does that mean we are condemned? No, that is not Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is very practical. The problem is not the objects of the senses. The problem is not the senses either. They are there both when we're in the material body and even on the spiritual platform we have senses. They won't be material senses, but we are beings with senses. The problem is our attitude, our attachment, and how far we become bewildered also. In the mind of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence and who are bewildered by such things, when we lose our inner compass, when we lose our ability to judge life properly, to put the proper priorities in our lives, when sense enjoyment becomes our goal and we become bewildered, and bewildered means we lose sight of the truth, then we are a little bit lost. There are so many stories of that, the old folk stories of somebody who walks out in the night and there is a little, it looks like a flat candle and you follow it, but actually it leads you into a river or some place where you will have problems because you took it for something else and you followed something that wasn't trustworthy. So if we follow our senses, or if we become too, obviously we will use our senses. We will look at something, we will hear something, we will see something. Yeah, I already said that. We will smell something and so on. We will touch something. But dependent on our understanding of the proportions this contact of the sense on objects with the senses have in our life, that's how much we can become bewildered. Or on the other hand, one of Krishna's name is Rishikesh. It means we have senses, but Krishna is the master of the senses. He also has senses. So we can engage all those activities in Krishna's service. We can be in this world, be in this body, but still not be affected. And that is samadhi. Samadhi means a fixed consciousness, a focused meditation even on a spiritual level, because material things, you cannot have a fixed meditation because they always change. I have now a very nice glass of ginger tea. And it's very helpful when you talk a lot to have something warm and smooth to keep your throat functioning. But when I drink it, it will run out, it will finish. And if my attachment, obviously it's a ridiculous example because nobody becomes very attached to ginger tea. It's very easy. You boil some ginger root in some water and you'll have another glass. And it's not a big deal. But some of the things that our senses become attached to, they become very important to us. We have family members, and they are persons, and they are individuals, and we can have a loving relationship with them. We can have responsible, if you're a parent, it is a very good thing to be responsible because your children need you, they are dependent on you. But if this pulls you away from the higher understanding of your spiritual nature and your opportunity in this human life form to put your focus there, then it will be a bit of a problem. And if you become bewildered, because we see that today, and maybe at every time, actually all our materialistic philosophies that we think are so modern and so new, I mean, they've always been there. They have had different names, but they've always been there. There is a philosopher, and I don't remember his name, but he's saying when we are cooking for Krishna, we use the best possible ingredients. And the best, purest, tastiest oil you can get is if you take butter and you warm it up on a low heat for a long time, and you take away all the milk solids. Then you will have a pure oil that is the tastiest one you can ever find, the purest one. It will last forever. Every time you may use it, you will filter it, you can use it over and over. And all your food will be so tasty. So when we cook something for Krishna in our temples, we want to use the best possible ingredients, and ghee is one of those things. It's called ghee. So this philosopher said, if you have to beg, steal or borrow, by all means get ghee. Because in this life, what is the highest enjoyment? Some people may say sex, but eating happens a lot more often. And if your eating is good, then you will be happy on the sensual platform. So that was his advice. And that's not very different from nowadays. We have a abundance of cookbooks and cooking shows. And of course we have to cook, we have to eat. And we, as the Hare Krishnas, put a lot of focus on our eating. We are even in India, sometimes they call us kitchen yoga because we meditate on our ingredients and on our cooking, and we learn different types of preparation, and we create a nice menu and we offer it to Krishna for his pleasure. Then we take that prasadam and we share it among each other, and we have a good basis for our, for the junction of social and spiritual life is taking this Krishna prasadam. It's called prasadam, Krishna's mercy. Yes, but if our only goal is to put something tasty on the tongue, then we die, and the tongue is gone, and the food is gone, and everything is gone, and it hasn't led to anything. That's a simple example. Of course, everybody eats. There are worse things. There is eating when you think you need to go and kill someone. You need to go out in the forest and kill an animal and cook it up because, yes, the taste that lands on my tongue is more important than somebody else's right to live. We have a society that has built up this horrible phenomena called slaughterhouses, where you jam it full of all kinds of poor innocent animals and just kill them wholesale, assembly line style, and pack it up and put it in the supermarkets, and everybody brings it home and cooks it like it's completely normal. I mean, it's not normal to have an industry that is based on killing, and to think that we need to kill in order to eat. Maybe there are emergencies where that's the only thing you can do. We cannot claim that nicely packaged meat in plastic in your supermarket is an emergency. It's a choice. But it's a choice we make because we're bewildered. We think we are these senses. We think a society, a lifestyle that is simply based on satisfying our senses is normal. So we're confused and bewildered. We don't like to hear that, maybe. The thing is, if we don't have knowledge, if we're confused and bewildered, and we don't know it, then we can't do anything about it. So the first step towards knowledge is admitting that there is something we don't know, that there is a lack. So here, Krishna is speaking about Bhoga Aishvarya Prashaktana, material enjoyment and opulences and attachment to those things, aparita cetasam, how it bewilders the mind, and how this fixed determination, vyavasaya atmika, buddhi, in devotional service to the Lord, samadhi, how in the controlled mind it never takes place. So even thinking about that we want our mind to be controlled, we want to be able to focus in meditation on the service to the Lord, it may be a totally new concept, but now that we know about it, we can see that it's a very important concept. And we are not the kind of fanatics that say we will never again eat or enjoy or anything like that. What we want to do is structure that life that we have, this human life, in such a way that we do not become bewildered, that we do not become distracted and sidetracked by those things that pertain to the body that is perishable and temporary. So we want a nice balance here, and just like when you're driving a car, there are many things you have to think about. There is the steering wheel, and here in Sweden we have a gear stick, usually most cars, and window wipers, and cars, and signs, and so many things. And when you're a new driver, you will look at all those things, and you will look in front of the car. But actually, when you have some experience, you know, when you fix your eyes, when you fix your vision on the goal, when you fix your eyes on where you're going, you will automatically turn your steering wheel in the right direction. You will automatically hear when the car needs the gear changed up or down. All these things, they will fall into place at the point where, of course, you need to practice, you need to have some experience, but you also need to find your goal and fix on that goal. And spiritual life is similar to that. If we can fix our mind on the big picture, on the long game, on the long goal, then the little things on the way, they will fall into place. We will not be spending all day deciding which shoes to wear, or so many small decisions that, of course, we need to wear shoes, especially, as I said, Sweden, winter. Shoes, very important thing. But Krishna is more important. And that's what Bhagavad-gita wants to bring us to the point where we realize that Krishna is more important. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for watching. We aim for updates every Tuesday and Friday. Please come back. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down there. We also have some links and information for you. And there is, of course, the subscribe button. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I'm a Hare Krishna, and I approve this message. Subscribe.
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalang